I am determined to get out of the pits in the Master League. And so far, it's not going very well.
Why didn't you just kill me?
However, I do have some fun battles to show you here today. I brought my Necrozma Dusk Mane as well as double fairy types in Xerneas and Zacian. Definitely a little bit of inspiration from that video we saw from Andres earlier on this week. So let's get started. Let's jump right into game number one. We're going to take a look at the lead situation. They've got their own Necrozma with the Dawn Wings, but because it's a Psychic and Ghost, it's going to take actually double super effective damage from my Shadow Claws. And also we find out that my Necrozma Dusk Mane is going to actually win the charge attack priority, which is really nice. I'm going to go ahead and trade shields here with my opponent. I do love the steel typing on this Pokemon. I think that Sunsteel Strike is very, very good, especially against fairies. And if you can get shields down against Rhyperior too, it is phenomenal. Going to go ahead and fire off the Sunsteel Strike here to try and get a shield, and we do, and then pivot into Zacian. So I am using a similar Zacian kit to what we saw from Andres' team. I do have close combat and wild charge, so kind of double debuffing nukes. And it makes the Zacian gameplay pretty interesting at times. My opponent did throw double wild charges, so they are double debuffed. I'm going to go ahead and overcharge just a little bit here. Looks like they're running Snarl as well, as opposed to my quick attack, so I am actually resisting those Snarls. Going to go ahead and throw that wild charge, get the KO. Looking for another wild charge there. Maybe could have overcharged a bit more on my own Zacian, but I missed that opportunity. Excuse me, opponent does get to the move here. It is going to be a little bit of a beefy farm down, but my opponent actually swaps into Palkia Origin form, and that is enough. They actually top left out of there because they realized that the Xerneas is just too much to handle. Now, with this team, I was having a lot of trouble with Ho-Oh lead. That's probably the worst possible lead for this team. And luckily, there aren't, that many Ho-Ohs, but there are still a significant number. Yveltal lead in this game number two. They're going to swap in the Ho-Oh, which actually is a good spot to see it for me. Even though I'm kind of in a hard counter situation, I do have the wild charge where I can fight back, which is super helpful. Wild charge does connect, but now I debuff myself. Going to throw the second wild charge here after just 2 quick attacks. It is going to be 4 to that first Sacred Fire, and then only 3 to the Brave Bird. Opponent is going to throw their charge attack here. This time it will be the Sacred Fire. They need 3 more, which is 7 Shadow Claws. And as I look at the damage ratio here, I don't think I can get it done. So I need to throw my charge attack before that second Sacred Fire is ready, because that Yveltal is such a hard counter for my Necrozma that I don't even really want to shield there. I don't want to give it up. We're going to see the Zygarde come in. My opponent realizes they have a Dark lead and a Dragon in the back. So Fairy is a massive core breaker for them, and I had 2. Gonna go ahead and lead to this Tapu Bulu in this next matchup. This is actually one of the main reasons that I swapped over to Necrozma Dusk Mane. But before I finish that thought, I should have gone Xerneas here. This is something that I learned after playing this matchup several times. The Zacian is just not a safe bet, especially when you have 2 debuffing moves and neither of them are going to one-shot your opponent. If I go Xerneas there, then I am able to just throw the Moonblast and be super comfortable. But now I'm forced to shield and potentially give up switch. So this was a big mistake. If you do try this team, keep that in mind. But one of the main reasons I wanted to play this Pokemon in Dusk Mane Necrozma is because I'm seeing so many Tapu Bulu. So many. And I'm going to talk about this more in the next video because I do have some exciting battles with a slightly different team that I want to show you. But Tapu Bulu Rhyperior, as we see right here, is a huge, huge problem in Master League. There are very few core breakers, and you'll be shocked to see what actually beats them both. Anyway, I get the shield there with the Sunsteel Strike. Probably going to let this one go. Even if it's a breaking swipe, my opponent will likely try to Mud Slap down. But it does allow me to get to another Sunsteel Strike. So barely not enough on the undercharge, I should say. And I'm able to land that. Coming in now with the Tapu Bulu, they get 2 more Bullet Seeds. It's going to be 4 Bullet Seeds for all the moves here on Tapu Bulu. So I come in here with the Zacian, throw the close combat. I think my thought process is to swap here, or at least force them to throw some energy. Yeah, I'm going to go with the latter, force them to throw energy. This matchup honestly comes a lot closer than I thought it would, because if they throw the Nature's Madness here, I'm going to get debuffed, right? So I need double close combats to really tie this matchup with a bow. But they also need, I I guess, yeah, they need another Nature's Madness. I mean, this is actually, well, 2 more Nature's Madnesses. I guess this isn't as close as I thought, but it's still got a little hairy here. I was watching this and thinking like, oh, did I throw? Did I do something wrong here? But I throw the close combat into the Tapu Bulu. Opponent knows that I've got 2, so they don't even bother. They just let that one through, and that is a massive KO. Going to this next battle here against my opponent. Again, I'm super in the pit, so if you're looking for some real hardcore Master League play where you want to sweat it out, it's probably not the right place to be. But if you're looking for something entertaining, this would be fun. Actually, I have an old battle here of me playing Mewtwo, so I might actually cut this out when this video is finished. But they swap in the Dusk Mane Necrozma, and Zacian needs the 2 wild charges to KO. It's actually pretty close of a matchup, and they have to land the Sunsteel Strike. If they bait here, then I'm able to get to the 2nd wild charge. They go for the Sunsteel, but I know that their interval is longer than mine, so I'm able to pace up to another wild charge here and maybe even get to a 3rd one. No, I'm just 1 away. This is actually really close. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a Dark Pulse. So maybe I could have gotten away with playing it differently. I'm gonna go for the Psy Strike here. I know it's resisted heavily by this this Dusk Mane Necrozma, and they do hang on, which is a little unfortunate because now I got to eat a Dark Pulse. But this was a tough situation to begin with. Dark Pulse connects. I wanted so badly to make Shadow Mewtwo work, but it's been really difficult to do so. Opponent's next Pokemon that they're going to bring in is going to be, oh, Reshiram. Okay. That does look like a Fire Fang Reshiram, so I'm able to fire off my Moonblast here. It is fire, so it only takes neutral from the Moonblast, but I think it does get the attack drop. I swear, the attack drop rate for Xerneas Moonblast is higher than anything else. Any other Moonblast user, I guarantee you. They come in with Yveltal, and honestly, I think Xerneas might be able to close this out. Gonna go ahead and fire off this Moonblast into the opposing Yveltal. Looking for the big farm down. Can we get it? Ooh, they get to a charge attack. If it's the Oblivion Wing, this is game over. And, oh my gosh. I think if we get there, we have a chance against the Reshiram. But anyway, let's take a look at this next battle. Our next opponent is going to be 580L. We're going to lead our Necrozma into that Giratina origin form. Now, I do have double fairies in the back. I swap into the Zacian, even though I don't have the Play Rough, my opponent sees that Fairy-type Pokemon and they get out of the way. I really want my opponent to throw first, right? I really want them to debuff themselves, but they do not. So I'm forced to throw the Wild Charge here. But I do have the back-to-backs. I think I saw the Best Buddy ribbon on that Zacian as well, so maybe I would lose the CMP. It's actually 4381 on their Zacian, and now that I'm double debuffed, this Wild Charge is going to absolutely wreck me, and it does. Coming in now with my Dusk Mane Necrozma, I know I can eat one of these attacks, so I'm going to let the first one through. Oh, they come back in with the Giratina, but now I've got some energy. So if I can take the shield here, it might pave the way for Xerneas to really tear things up. And I do get the shield, which is really nice. Now I've got a 2-shield advantage with Xerneas. I need to call the Shadow Ball or Ominous Wind here. We're going to call the Shadow Ball, and we call it correctly, which is really nice. 3 more Geomancies, and then we're going to go ahead and gather the energy needed for the Moonblast to get the KO here. That's absolutely devastating. I still have 1 shield left in the tank. Coming in with the Zacian, I might be able to farm down here, but it's going to be close. I'm going to shield. I've only seen the Wild Charge. I don't know if it's Play Rough. Turns out to be another Wild Charge. I'm going to build up a lot of energy, and then I'll go into my my Dusk Mane Necrozma. The problem here is that I think I get KO'd by a Moonblast. I definitely do. And now I have to throw the Moonblast of my own, hoping for the debuff. I probably should have thrown the Moonblast and then swapped, if I'm being honest. But now, with double close combat, I think I can win. Opponent actually overcharging, trying to get up to that Moonblast, and they are not quite there, so they can't throw in time. Oh, and I sneak in 1 more Geomancy. And now the Zacian comes in. Oh, it's a CMP! Oh, no. Oh, this is brutal, because at this point, the Zacian wins it, throws the Wild Charge, and KOs me because I'm already debuffed. So, yeah, I definitely could have played a bit more cleanly there in a few different situations. Either way, that was a fun game. And we learned a lot. Next battle is Yveltal lead versus my Necrozma, which is no bueno. Gotta get out of there ASAP. They come in with the Primarina. And you know, This is a Charm Primarina. I let a Charm through as well, which is no good by me. Terrible mechanics. If I can get to triple Wild Charge, this might be a different story, but I do think that letting the Charm through really hurts me in this matchup. So if your opponent switches in, don't throw the even number, throw the odd number of fast moves, which is really tough to get used to, but it's important. Gonna go ahead and throw the second Wild Charge here. This will pick up the KO if it connects, and it actually does. Wow. Oh my gosh, and they bring in the Lando. All right, so you're telling me there's a chance. I do have my Necrozma though, and it's going to struggle against this ground type, but I need my Xerneas on that Yveltal, so I have to send this Pokemon in. Opponent actually swaps. Maybe you could say I made a mistake there not building a bit more energy. I think I could have banked a Sunsteel Strike on my Necrozma, but I don't want this Pokemon to get to double Oblivion Wings either. It's 8th and 7, right? So it would have gotten there pretty soon after. I'm going to go ahead and fire my Moonblast. I pick up the final shield. I'm probably going to shield myself here because I need this Pokemon. And I want to keep an eye on the switch timer as well. Do not let the opponent catch. Switch timer is still expired. I swapped almost immediately after them, so I'm able to fire this off very cleanly. Opponent goes down. I'm going to leave in my my Xerneas here. I get to the close combat, but my opponent strikes back now with, I believe, yeah, Sandsear Storm. But I get to the Dark Pulse. Is this enough? Dusk Mane Necrozma trying to deal some heavy damage here. And Lando faints. It actually was enough, which is insane that Necrozma was able to close that out. Let's take a look at this next battle here. Our opponent is going to be Gyarados, which Gyarados does have Crunch. And now they switch into Ursaluna. Yeah, this is real weird. This is a real weird spot to be in. My Shadow Claws were double resisted. I'm waiting for the high horsepower to come through here, but I don't know how much it's going to do. Purified Ursaluna. Wow, that does a lot of damage. I'm going to go for close combat here. It is a normal type, but as we've seen in Master League, even if you are weak to the charge attack, sometimes you can hang on. Look at Rhyperior versus close combat. It hangs on. This Pokemon's the same. Ursaluna, Gyarados. This might be a triple non-legendary team. That is a possibility here. Coming in out with the Zacian, I've already decided I'm going to shield up the high horsepower. I do not want to eat another one of those for any reason. Opponent throws Swift Bait, and you know what? It takes, I think it's like 20 tackles for the high horsepower, so I know this is another Swift, so I'm able to no shield there. Yeah, that's like 10 quick attacks. Anyway, Gyarados comes in. Oh my gosh, this is bad news bears. My opponent has to see the writing on the wall here. Zap! Oh my gosh. And in comes the Mamoswine. This Mamoswine actually running Mud Slap. I forgot that this Pokemon learns that. I thought that it had Powdered Snow and Ice Shard only. But yeah, there it is. Mud Slap for sure. Opponent thinks their win condition is to farm me all the way down. I am a Steel-type Pokemon, but Sunsteel Strike does hit really hard against the Ice typing here from the Mamoswine, and that is a big knockout into my opponent. Let's take a look at the next battle. We've got Danny 0714. Danny's gonna be playing some Zygarde. I think I might go, yeah, one Shadow Claw and then swap. The opponent brings in the Dusk Mane Necrozma. I did this quite a lot, where I would swap the Zacian and be met by the Dusk Mane Necrozma. If you notice, it's really tough to play Psychic-type Pokemon and Ghost-type Pokemon now in the Master League because Yveltal is so powerful. Even though we don't see it as often as you would think, it is still very prevalent. Opponent throws a Sunsteel Strike. I come back in with my own Necrozma. A little bit of a one-turn lag there. I should have gotten an extra Shadow Claw, but I'm going to go ahead and shield anyway and look for the Shadow Claw down. Opponent does come back in with the Zygarde. I instant swap. They come in with the Kartana, which honestly, I do have the hundo of this. Shout out to Mitch, my buddy in Orlando. He sent me the raid for that. But I do not have the XLs because I'm a scrub, and he knows it. So I do fire the Moonblast there because I do not want to debuff myself too much. I believe this is 8 Razor Leafs to each of these charge attacks, whether it's the Night Slash or the Leaf Blade. But I'm taking so much damage over time. Oh, this is rough. I throw the close combat. And I don't think there's a way to win this game now. It does KO. Oh, opponent! Oh my gosh, I can't believe I hung on through that Dragon Tail, but when you're double resisting a Xerneas, you can do it. Moonblast does get shielded. Arguably, I should have seen the swap. I should have banked the Moonblast because I need the shield here with my Necrozma. But I need the double Sunsteel Strike, and there's too much. I need too much, and I can't get it all. Opponent throws the Earthquake, and that is a KO. That's GG's. Next battle, let's take a look versus Good Vibes. Good Vibes is going to lead Ho-Oh. This is one of the toughest leads. And when I showed this team to a friend, he said, okay, what do you do against Ho-Oh, though? I guess we're going to find out. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Wild Charge here as the Zacian. This is pretty much my only answer, and even though it doesn't look like a hard counter, this is my hardest counter to the Ho-Oh. I think I shield here. This is definitely worth a shield, right? Oh my gosh, I don't shield. Okay. Wow. Yeah, this is not going well. I guess I have to bring this back in. I should have shielded there. I think that was a huge mistake. I remember being so salty with myself for not shielding. I think I like looked at the screen for a second and I thought that I pressed shield, but I didn't. I'm telling you, maybe I'm getting a little bit older, because when I battle, I have to have everything off. TV off, you know, screens off, no other distractions, and I think this battle is over. But let's see if we can pull it out. I throw the Dark Pulse into the Ho-Oh. It does not pick up the KO, but I instant swap now into the Xerneas. Xerneas versus Dialga. Iron Head, I believe it's 17 Dragon Breaths, which is basically like 8 counters worth. I do land the Moonblast. Attack does fall. I'm actually considering no shielding this. I actually do shield. After the attack drop, you could argue maybe I should have no shielded. Gonna overcharge quite a bit. I want to keep an eye on my switch timer as well, and I do not want to debuff myself, so I throw the Moonblast again. Moonblast does connect. Ho-Oh comes back in. It throws a move here. If this is Brave Bird, it's going to hurt a lot. It's a Sacred Fire. Hurts still. But I'm looking for the big... Oh my gosh, they come in now with the Palkia, and I think there's a way I can win this. I throw the Moonblast immediately into the Palkia. This needs to one-shot the Palkia Origin. Can it do it? Xerneas pulls it off. Ho-Oh comes in, 5 turns Incinerate, 3 turns Geomancy. Boom! And that is a knockout with fast attacks, and I really didn't think there was a way. After I totally screwed up and did not shield my Zacian, I thought there was no way I could win that game. But got very, very fortunate. Tapu Bulu in this game, this time shiny. Tapu Bulu shiny looks really sick, I'm not gonna lie. And again, I make the same mistake. I think this was the game where I decided, if opponent switches in the Palkia Origin, I need to go Xerneas. So again, I make the same mistake. Don't play like I play, and you'll win. Opponent throws another Aqua Tail. I'm gonna let this one through, but it's already getting really close. I'm double resisting these Dragon Breaths, which is nice, but now that I've debuffed myself with Wild Charge, it's going to get much, much more precarious. I can't get to the triple Wild Charges. You could argue that I overcharged over 100 there, and that was some lost energy as well. Opponent does take back Switch Advantage, which is really bad. Coming in with the Dusk Mane Necrozma, I don't know what that was, but we both kind of paused for a moment. Aqua Tail does connect. I do not want to take another Aqua Tail, and we're able to avoid it. Opponent's third Pokemon is going to be the Rhyperior. I know that was bad timing, but I wanted the Sunsteel Strike, and I did not want to take a third Mud Slap. Now I swap. Now I've got Xerneas. Hold on. I've got Xerneas versus a Tapu Bulu and this Rhyperior. I try to call the bait. Oh, and I call it. Let's go. Let's go. Here comes the Tapu Bulu. That's 2 Bullet Seeds for it since it came back onto the field. I land the first Moonblast. Attack does fall. Hold on. Maybe there's a chance here. I think if I double shield through this, I can get back to my switch. I think that's the what I'm going to try to do. No, I'm going to throw the close combat here. Let's see how I play this out. Opponent does have the Rhyperior in the back. Going to switch into my Dusk Mane Necrozma. Looking for the Dark Pulse, but I get farmed down. I did want to deal some damage to it. I'm going to throw this close combat on the Charge Type Priority Tie. Isn't enough. Rhyperior's chipped. And it's not enough. Opponent does get to another charge attack. If this is a breaking swipe, this could be really bad. It is a breaking swipe. This has gone from bad to worse, but I'm only 3 Geomancies away. Gonna throw the third Geomancy, and then the close combat is there. I win the charge type priority tie, and I'm able to KO this Rhyperior with just the great. Maybe could have even done the nice. I'm still trying to push my way up through the ranks in Master League. I've got a fun team for you coming up next. That's actually the Dawn Wings Necrozma with a nice moveset change that I think helps me against these Tapu Bulu and Rhyperior cores. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.